Hi boys and girls, welcome to 6th grade physical science, and today's standard states determine the relationships between the concepts of potential, kinetic, and thermal energy. Before we can determine these relationships between these terms, let's define and discuss each word. So again, the three words we're focusing on is kinetic energy, potential energy, and thermal energy. Kinetic and potential are the two types of energy. Thermal falls underneath one of them as a type of that energy. So thermal is actually a type of kinetic energy. We'll discuss that a little bit. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion or energy that is in use. Any matter in motion has kinetic energy. I'm going to use the example of a tennis ball for these first few definitions. For example, when you let go of a tennis ball, it gained kinetic energy as it moved faster and faster toward the floor. It also had kinetic energy after it bounced back up from the floor. Potential energy is also known as energy that's stored energy, so not currently being used, but potential energy is the energy an object has because of its place or its condition. Once the tennis ball reached the top of its bounce, it fell again, changing more and more of its potential energy back into kinetic energy. If you caught the ball at the top of a bounce, it would keep that potential energy until you dropped it again. So thermal energy is a type of kinetic energy. Thermal energy is also known as heat energy. It is produced when a rise in temperature causes atoms and molecules to move faster and collide with each other. The energy that comes from the temperature of the heated substance is called thermal energy. Energy is the ability to cause changes in matter. There are two basic types of energy. The first one's the kinetic energy. That's like the active energy or the motion of an object. And then we have potential energy, which is also known as the stored energy. So under each one, I gave a list of examples. So for kinetic energy, one type of kinetic energy is electric energy. Another type is thermal energy, mechanical energy, light energy, and sound energy. For potential energy, you have chemical energy, gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy. We're going to elaborate specifically on thermal energy for this particular standard, since that's what it asks for. So let's discuss the relationship between kinetic energy and thermal energy. Thermal energy is often referred to as heat. When rapidly moving molecules, those in a hot substance, bump into slowly moving molecules, those in a cold substance, they transfer or give off some of their thermal energy to the slower molecules. The transfer of thermal energy from one substance to another is called heat. Thermal energy always flows in the same direction from a warmer substance to a cooler substance. So prior to these lessons, I know in the past you've learned that warmer atoms and molecules move a lot faster and they're really active. And then ones that are cooler move a lot slower. So in this situation, in thermal energy, the faster moving atoms kind of bump into the cooler moving atoms, and they then transfer that energy to those slower moving atoms. Thermal energy can be transferred between objects in three different ways: conduction, convection, and radiation, and we'll touch on those in another lesson. Thermal energy is the kinetic energy of molecules. The average kinetic energy of the molecules in an object is known as the object's temperature. All right, that is it. We just needed to cover the relationship between kinetic and thermal. There isn't a specific relationship between potential and thermal, because thermal energy is specifically a type of kinetic energy. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.